Hi, friends.
Hi, friends.
Welcome back to Friends of Disney, where we are friends who talk about Disney. It's a different pair of us starting today. It is Sean and Megan.
And the Nova the cat.
Yes, hi, Nova. Jonelle is will be here. She's just trying to help us with Casper Jr. because he's a little fushy and we need help. It's hard being parents. Um. Anyways, today, well, words are hard. Sorry, friends. Don't forget to subscribe and to help us grow the channel and check us out wherever you listen to podcasts, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all different podcasting platforms. That being said, Megan, what episode are we talking about today?
We're talking about the Romeo and Juliet episode of Zack and Cody.
Yeah, which is another London Tipton episode.
Is it worth I prefer Lyndon Tipton episodes over any other character?
I don't think it's weird. It's just interesting because I didn't realize how so far we don't really get a lot of Zack and Cody content.
Even though it's called The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
I know, but cause last week's episode was about was about London Tipton and her going poor. Now we're talking about her love life.
I think it's because Lyndon Tipton is interesting to the rest of society because everyone else is a working class
Mm-hmm.
or like in some way answers to the Tipton name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Besides London.
Well, it's interesting because I definitely all their characters are so much more interesting to tell stories about, and Zack and Cody are pretty much just there for comic relief for the most part
Mm-hmm.
because they're oftentimes the B plot because they're not going to have much development right now because they're 10-year-old boys. So they can only have as much development as a 10-year-old boy can have, which is every once in a while having a brotherly moment. But you have all the other characters like Maddie and London that are teenagers. And so they're going through all the craziness that teenagers go through and first loves and the thrills and evils of money and so on. But I just realized how much Zack and Cody is not just really the star of their own show.
Mm-hmm. Also, it took me until like right now realizing the suite life as in a hotel suite.
To be fair, I didn't make that connection for a while either. Because then you have Sweet Life on Deck, where it's on a cruise deck.
Mm-hmm. That is pretty like the people who did marketing, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, it's true. I do have to say I was disappointed though when there was nothing after Sweet Life on Deck because they had a teaser where they were on the Starship Tipton, where it's the same thing as the SS Tipton, but it was a spaceship. And at the end, they were during the last episode, they're like, "We've been in a hotel, a boat. What's next?"
Space.
But they didn't do anything next, which kind of sucks.
Honestly, I'm kind of glad that there wasn't.
I mean, yeah, they let the show have its run. They didn't really milk it as much as it probably portrayed like a milking,
I
if that
wouldn't
makes sense.
I guess I
'Cause-
guess I really have no opinion on it considering I didn't watch it very much.
I mean, you have a 6 season sitcom, basically, that they divided up into two separate shows because of contract reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, circling back to this episode, I thought this episode was so cute. Weird, but cute. Oh, the Jonelle emerges.
Did you do it?
You know what? He's calmed enough now to where I think he might actually fall asleep.
Okay, that's good.
Oh, are we actually recording now?
Yes,
Yeah.
we were just talking about how we're on another London Tipton episode. even though last week was all about London Tipton, and how we're really noticing that Zack and Cody are not the stars of really of their own show.
Yeah.
They're more of B plot comic relief.
Yeah. Let him cry. Sorry, viewers. There is a Casper Jr. crying and trying to sleep.
Yeah,
That is why I was late to the entrance.
we appreciate your help.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, now
Okay.
what did you think about this episode other than it was absolutely adorable?
PG enemies to lovers.
Yep.
I disagree because they never started as enemies.
Their history is, see, there's like two different plots in storybooks that could go from enemies to lovers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's normally the families are feuding and the two of them just kind of randomly coexist and run into each other and then fall in love, or the two of them absolutely hate each other and then kind of learn to love each other. And you can also have the third mixture, which has both.
Yeah,
This is why I put it as PG, Disney's version of enemies to lovers.
yeah. I don't know. It was just cute, like seeing like London's heart so full of love and just being like, I would love him even if he was poor, which is a lot considering a week ago she was.
Well, and then also kind of considering her personality type too, because I mean, other episodes, especially Sweet Life on Deck, we see that Justin Russo, she was only into him because he was
A cute doctor.
a cute doctor, and she could go on to her yacht and eat some fried chicken, or
Hmm.
go to the balcony and eat fried chicken.
You know, it's really funny because he says like it takes like 8 years to do like school or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here thinking about it like between Sweet Life of like in the hotel and on deck, there's a total of 6 seasons there. So by the time the show ended, she really only had like 2 or 3 years left.
All right, so now we know why on Sweet Life on Deck and the other ones why she was only into rich men for the rest of the, because she's just playing around.
Although I think it would have been interesting to see her come back, like to see that guy come back and stuff.
8 years later. Honestly, if Disney was going to do a reboot of a show, like now kind of talking about on this concept, I think that'd be pretty cute, you know, of the two of them together. And then, like, instead of running the Tipton hotel, you know, like the two of them run their own hotel, and then a new Sweet Life on Deck emerges from that. Like a new show based off of their marriage and the hotel they created together.
I hear what you're saying, but the whole thing was that he didn't want to go into the hotel business. He wanted to be a
The
dentist.
He could be a dentist though. I'm saying probably most likely London's going to keep the hotel.
Probably.
And because if they got married, then that would be a joint asset.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now your business brain's going.
I can't help it.
You have any thoughts on?
I personally didn't like this episode very much.
Really? Why didn't you?
I'm not really a big romance person.
That is true. She's not.
Out of the two of us, Sean tends to like romance more as a genre. I don't know. Especially when it comes to like teenagers and like crushes and things. I try really, really, really hard not to put like any pressure on any relationships. I saw how that impacted my siblings of like them being like, "Oh, I really like this guy. Oh, I really like this girl." And my parents being like, "Oh, we really like them." And then that person ended up not being like a great person. And you're so in middle and high school, you change as fast as the river flows. you're constantly jumping in and out of like who you are and who you're meant to be. And so even if those two reunited later in life, they could be totally completely different people. And I kind of hope they are, because if they're the same people that met, what would it be, like 8, 9 years? That would be really sad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially given like we already know that London goes through a lot of like character growth.
So like, or if she regressed back when she met him, it, yeah. So I don't know. And also, it felt really, really, really superficial. Where like she was like, he's pretty, and he was like, oh, I have these big dreams, and she's like, but he's pretty.
I thought that was just playing into London's dumbness
Yeah.
because she like would hear these things and just I can't like she just couldn't compute it. Like the Shakespeare talk, she was just like, that's too much. That's just too much. Can't do it.
Kind of like when I gave my whole speech on what I wrote for my essay questions for my exam.
Yep.
And I was like, I tried really hard. I don't understand.
Guys, I was really excited. I got the highest grade on my exam in the class.
Yeah.
That rarely happens.
I don't think that ever happened for me.
I was never that person.
Mm-mm.
But
Well, actually, I take that back. I was for one of my college classes. I did really good on one assignment that everyone else did really bad on.
um but you never went through the high school crush phase.
Nope.
I feel like you barely went through the college crush phase.
It's true.
You two are married, but like, let's be honest here.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm not gonna fault. It's not her fault. She dipped her toe in the water and struck gold.
I dated one guy before Sean. Hi, Aiden.
If Aiden watches this,
He does not watch this. But if he does, hi, Aiden. And oh, he was lovely. We broke up because honestly, we're like long distance is not a thing that we want to do right now. And he was like, I have some things I want to work on. And I was like, great, I have things I want to work on. And when we got back together, like to see each other the next semester at college, we were like, yeah, this isn't gonna work out.
Well, that and like your guys' relationship was like the opposite of Todd and London in this episode, where it's like they were trying to keep them apart. The friend group we were in kind of forced you two together.
Okay, let me tell you the story of Aiden and I because I think it'll make a lot more sense. So, we had this mutual friend named Emily, who ironically is the same Emily that introduced these two people. And one day, Aiden, Emily, and I were all having lunch, and me and Aiden had this back and forth. We only talked to each other this like once a year before this because we worked at the same like 1 week like retreat that was at Whitworth. And we ended up making this whole like inside joke between the two of us of like us being aliens who like communicate through telepathy. And we were like so in sync. It was kind of insane. And so he became incorporated into the friend group that played D&D, and everyone was like, you and Aiden are so cute with each other. You guys should date. And so they forced us to date. And when we started dating, I was like, oh, this is too fast. Too soon.
not gonna lie, I had a crush on Aiden in the friend group.
Oh my god.
No, I get it. I get it.
And then everyone was trying to get me and Sean together.
I
And
still don't understand that one.
I think it's because of all our McChicken runs we went on at like
We would just hang out and be dumb together.
yeah.
I think the thing with our old friend group, and I have this theory where they just saw chemistry. And like, don't get me wrong, there's different kinds of chemistry where it's like
I think this also
friend
is
groups
part
do.
of Whitworth's culture
Where-
of like, if you are of the opposite sex and you have chemistry, you
must date.
automatically are dating essentially.
Well, so the story of me and Megan. Here's the thing. Obviously, me and Megan became friends. And we had a number of things that overlapped. Like we both ended up taking the same class on the Book of Revelation together. We both unintentionally were in the same life group with the university president.
It's true.
And like Megan's relationship with Aiden, me and Megan just clicked right away.
We did not.
Hear me out. When me and Megan were first introduced to each other, the only thing we saw that we knew about each other was our friend Emily literally said, "Hey, this is Sean. He likes hugs and Disney. You like hugs and Disney. Be friends."
And I was upset with Graham and Emily for something they said earlier, and I was like, I am not giving this human being a hug right now.
But when me and Megan actually started like hanging out and talking with each other, we kind of clicked right away. Like we understood the same thought process, but we were a little bit cringy because like our first texting conversations was just us talking in Disney lyrics. But the thing is, we would take every opportunity we could to use Hellfire from Hunchback of Notre Dame because it's so funny.
And like, let's be completely honest. This is like, when we're talking about like having conversations with Disney lyrics, it was like he added me on Snapchat, and we were like, I don't want to say we were. This is like when we were acquaintances. Like we weren't like besties yet, because then we actually had normal conversations.
We did eventually.
Yeah, but like there was just a solid moment of time where we just only texted Disney lyrics to each other.
In a way of trying to make conversation with them. It was weird. But because our friends eventually ended up trying to like, you guys just seem like you guys are dating because we became really close friends and we're both physically affectionate people, like hugs, cuddles all day long. And
Except for the two of us.
no. But at some point we were just basically like, you know what? Screw this. We're just gonna like fake date, essentially. Like we'll just say we're dating to get people off our back.
That, and there was this really creepy guy in my department who ended up transferring departments later, but he just was like really creepy and kept on hitting on me, and I was like, I have a boyfriend.
I think I remember hearing about this person.
Yeah. And so I was like, Sean, can you be my beard? And if you don't know what a beard is, it's basically someone who will play pretend as your significant other. I was a beard for several people. And yeah,
It's because you give off strong lesbian vibes.
I do give a very strong lesbian vibes. Yeah.
Let's admit it, I was too much in a hoe phase.
Yeah, no, you were.
Yeah.
Jonal and I didn't really become friends until after we both graduated college.
We did have like really good conversations though. That
Mostly
first
about
year.
predestination.
Yeah.
Predestination is so stupid, especially double predestination. I could get into it.
It's just really interesting though on where the brain goes about it because it's such an unknown. And I'll try not to go into a whole topic.
No. Stay shallow water. Stay shallow water.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like,
if this episode gets to 1,000 likes, I will do a whole episode on why I think predestination and double predestination is stupid.
I want to say what's up with the double, but I'm not even gonna try and go there.
We've talked about it a few times.
Oh my gosh, after this episode, I'm going to explain it to you.
Remember that whole thing we were saying about how London was like, that's a lot? Yeah.
I can explain it in 2 sentences.
After. I don't know. We've talked a little bit about we've talked like off and on about your romance life.
Oh my god.
We do on the podcast.
Oh,
We talk off and
yes.
on. But like the Ice
Yes.
Princess episode was like the one where we went into the most depth when it comes to you and romance.
Yes,
in
I was
peace.
gonna bring that up. I was just like, my dating life, boy, it's kind of a mess. Though now it's not.
Finally.
Yeah, okay. So going off of the beginning where I was talking about like this whole London Tipton waiting for 8 years and then being a hoe in between. That's my dating life. So freshman year of college, while everyone was trying to think that me and Sean should be together, sorry, Sean, but bleh.
Yeah, sorry, Sean, but bleh.
Mr. Tinder guy, and I will not say the nickname that we gave him because that will not
Nope.
be accepted on YouTube,
Nope.
or Spotify or any of the other listening channels.
Nope.
But Mr. Tinder guy was the first guy on Tinder I had actually went to go meet up, and that one night turned into he got a girlfriend the next week. And so, I went to parties. I was,
And 7 years later, you're together.
yeah.
Well, 6 years because you guys got together in 2019.
No,
years.
I can tell you the day we got together.
It was 2019.
No, it was 2018 because our first time was December of 2018.
Oh, really? Yeah. So 6 years or 7
Yeah.
years. That's crazy. That was so long ago.
Hold up. So, like, December 12th of 2018.
Oh my god. Just saying, we've been friends longer.
Yes. Yes, I know.
That's my flex.
And but went to go meet Mr. Tinder dude on that specific day, and then a few weeks later he got a girlfriend, and then they broke up, and then in between that time when he was dating that girl I saw other people, and then they broke up, and he hit me up, so then I went to his place. You can get the picture from there. But he was also like never really a committal person until just now.
Yeah.
And things had always been on and off. And I mean, these two hear about the thick and thin of this. And like for the longest, like I would say about the past 2 years, it was essentially me kind of ready to leave behind my feelings for this person because even while I was dating other men, Mr. Chef and other people,
The guy at Applebee's.
yeah,
Don't you? We love our nicknames.
yes, he was still in the back of my mind. Like, he is one of the people I always loved.
The one you never forget.
Yeah. And it also doesn't help that me and him moved in together during COVID. So, like, I was dating other people and we still lived together.
But yeah.
But I guess to the world now, and he never watches this, so thank God. But we are together now. Me and Tinder dude are together now, and
Oh my gosh. Sorry.
Go.
This is unrelated to the episode, but I did talk to someone about our podcast this week.
oh, congratulations! Okay, so we have quarterly goals, and
Jonelle's working to try and make us more businessy on the behind the scenes.
yes, because I think it's a great idea for us to outreach to others about our podcast because you're listening, you're listening, haha, which means that like we outcasted to you, so you are our friend. Welcome.
Sounds so cringy.
You say it sounds cringy. I would, if I was listening to this, if I was, like if I was one of y'all, I'd be like, yeah, I am.
See, like, you know how like people have like different names for like their memberships? There's like, we can just call them like our friends.
Friend.
Ultimate
Link.
friend.
Also,
Super
speaking of which, if y'all's reached this point to comment, please let me know if this is a stupid idea or not, because I keep wanting to do a community event where it's improv Just Dance, okay? So there's Just Dance, and that would still
The
be
video game.
Yeah. So there would still be Just Dance in like the actual community event thing, but like improv Just Dance would be you play like a normal song and then you have to improv what dance they might do.
Like the
in-
coaches would do in Just Dance.
Yeah, so you become the coach on the scene. Anyway, so if you're listening, please let us know.
So I'll let you. I'm gonna ask a question that I know will make you happy. So with London and Todd, their whole love growing and stuff, there's the opposite happening with another two people, Mr. Mosby and Miss something 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 something
From
something.
the other hotel.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah, the
German
one with
lady.
mole.
yeah, the mole lady. They are competing hotels. Go, business person.
I mean,
Just
yeah, they are competitors. I mean, it makes
but like
sense.
they're like, I don't know, like the way
Okay.
they're going about getting each other's faces and like basically trying to literally steal like business from the other.
It's-
Okay,
it is.
You know what it is?
Huh.
Okay, the TikTok of the guy who put Domino's and Pizza Hut on the same call.
Oh my god, yes.
That is what it is.
I haven't seen this.
Oh, I'll find
It
for
is
you.
so funny. Okay, so like this guy has two cell phones right next to each other.
Okay.
One of them has the number for the local Domino's.
Okay.
The other one has a number for the local Pizza Hut.
Okay.
Hits call at the same time. So then they both answer. And then the guy from Pizza Hut says, "Hi, this is Pizza Hut. You get a large, like, whatever 3-topping pizza for X amount of dollars." And then Domino's is like, "F you, Pizza Hut. We can get a large 3-topping pizza for like $1 less." And then like they get into this whole
huge fight.
Yeah, they get into this huge fight.
I wonder if that was
It's
staged.
So funny. I doubt it because it's behind a phone.
Well, a part of it I feel like had to be staged.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, who really gets that enthused working at a pizza place?
I mean, more than likely, I feel like one of their friends had to work at the Pizza Hut or the Domino's.
But like, when it comes to like Mosby and like what they're actually doing, like, is that practical? Like, does that
No.
actually happen? Like, how much they're like in each other's faces trying to like steal business from the other and stuff?
No.
I figured not.
The most practical one that you see is like Coca-Cola ads where they're just like, they'll mock the other.
The mock Pepsi.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like other than that, no, not really.
Okay.
Because we also have laws put in place, believe it or not.
We do.
And yeah, so our laws kind of hold back on some of those. Like there's competition, but you have to do it because the United States has laws to put against monopolies.
I was literally thinking about this. I was like, isn't there like a monopoly clause that no one company can have like the right to like
Unless
one
you have a
particular thing?
patent or copyright or something like that where you own the infringement of the certain material for X amount of years. And this is why medication costs so much, because not a lot of people actually know this, is that medication is made under patents because it has to be formulated a certain way. And a lot of times they'll get those patents in for that specific medication. And then things like only that pill is with that company until the copyright or patent is over, which is like 7 to 14 years,
Mm-hmm.
unless they make a modification to the medication, which then they can redo that. So our government does allow monopolization towards like individual items and content that is created or made, which is why medication costs so much. It's because companies are owning these legal patents for their medications, and they may redo like one small thing of the patent and then they keep it for like another X amount of years. Um, and if you're wondering about the Ozempic case, I just found this out recently. Sorry, kind of getting into the medical field about this, but it's really interesting stuff. Um, Essentially, Ozempic is going to compound pharmacies because there's such a high demand for it. Now, compound pharmacies, most of the time, are not legitimate and have to go through extreme lengths to become legitimized to create actual pharmaceutical medicines. And so, companies right now that are selling Ozempic without a doctor's prescription is potentially not made in safe pharmaceutical labs. And they're meeting a demand, but they're not making the medication properly. So sorry, that was my little rant.
I was gonna say that's a wide tangent.
Yeah, sorry. I got on a little spiel there, but like it just had me thinking, and
Mm-hmm.
I just find it interesting.
I think it's interesting. Yeah.
Oh, so okay. I wanted to go on to this topic, which is actually about the episode. Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
Did you guys read it in high school?
Yes.
No.
And I watched the movie.
Nope.
Which one did you watch?
I don't remember. It was high school.
You did a. I was like, we had to watch the Leonardo DiCaprio
No,
one.
we did not. It was older.
Okay.
It was in black and white.
Oh. Yeah, no, we didn't watch that one.
I
And-
none of
Oh.
Lucky.
not even Romeo and Juliet. The only Romeo and Juliet I have truly seen is the Romeo is like the or two scenes from Romeo and Juliet from season 2 of Mr. Iglesias on Netflix.
It's true.
So then, like, did you read anything from Shakespeare in high school?
Hamlet. My junior year.
Okay, because my school, we did Romeo and Juliet and the Odyssey.
Odyssey's not Shakespeare.
Or, well, we still read the Odyssey.
Yeah.
I don't know who it's by, but.
Homer.
And then the rest of my classes, we read all black literature.
What? I'm sorry. I read like 5 things from Shakespeare. And I am so mad.
You're so scholarly.
Oh my gosh. We read Shakespeare, A Midsummer's Night Dream. I'm pretty sure
Macbeth.
Macbeth,
Hamlet.
Hamlet.
Well,
There was another one.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
No. We watched that on a sub day though.
okay, to be fair, my senior year, I did take African American literature from Eastern that was offered at my high school, but even my junior year, we didn't read like any Shakespeare or anything. Like Shakespeare was my freshman year in high school.
See, I had friends in high school that actually had Romeo and Juliet in their English classes, but but not all the teachers really talked and had a cohesive curriculum, which is odd considering my English teacher my freshman year was the drama teacher, but we didn't do Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, so I find it kind of, I just find it kind of funny because like my freshman year was the only year that we read Shakespeare and like the Odyssey, and that was it. But then my sophomore year was all African American literature. My junior year was all African American literature. In my senior year, I took African American literature.
I think Megan's mad.
I am a little mad. Look, I want to like Romeo and Juliet. I want to like William Shakespeare, but it was so I liked Midsummer's Night Dream. It was genuinely funny. But
Are you jealous?
That we didn't have to do much.
oh my gosh.
Okay, but African American literature, like I've read it through all the eras. It's interesting to read because it's like not the same as Shakespeare, but there is that different cultural language to it where like when I'm reading these books, I'm having to like sit it sounds so dumb, but like while I was reading them, I'm sitting there having to read it in a Southern accent to actually understand what these people are saying.
No, I totally understand that. For one of my courses, before I met any of you guys, I took a Black literature class in college and I struggled through that class. Um, it was because we had to read a book in 2 weeks that were usually over 100 pages.
Mm.
I'm gonna see if I can find like one sentence so I can like kind of describe what I was
Oh,
saying.
I think I know because I remember in 8th grade we read a story. We were reading a story and stuff about about a black woman in the deep south and stuff, and the accent was nuts. And plus I also makes me think of like Rare Bear,
Yes.
Rare Fox, Rare Rabbit.
Wait, when you mean Black literature, do you mean like African Americans or do you mean like anyone who has?
Well, okay, so like generally I would just say African American literature because that's what they named it like in school wise.
Mm-hmm.
But like really like I think it's more of just black culture in general because like we read stuff from the 1800s all the way up to the 1960s and 70s
Mm-hmm.
into that era. So like really it's more of like I would just say African American literature because um yeah, there's a lot of slang terms that are used and like if anything African American literature is more historical based,
Mm.
which is kind of interesting. Honestly, taking that for literature was a little bit nicer because I didn't have to focus so much on like the hard critiques and I was able to focus on the history of interpreting what they were saying and what it was conveying to the reader.
Yeah. Also, I was like sitting here thinking about like the classes like you guys took. Technically, I have seen an iteration of Romeo and Juliet. It's called Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. What?
I feel angry right now.
Ugh.
Okay, but I also have to acknowledge that I was in like honors slash AP English classes since I was in high school. And I know English is not your strongest subject.
Not even in the slightest. No.
So I have to like take a deep breath and remind myself that like we have different strengths. And I read a lot more books than you have when it comes to
Well,
classic literature.
and I think again, it pertains like to the teachers I had. Like, yeah, I had the drama teacher for my freshman year where you typically would have read Romeo and Juliet, but instead we did The Princess Bride.
Oh, oh, I read The Princess Bride too. It's the only book I never ended up finishing because that book is literally written sarcasm. I rarely understand sarcasm now. As a high school freshman, I did not understand it and I refused to finish the book.
Yeah, and we also did like The Hobbit, which was fun because we would like read a chunk
Mm-hmm.
and then watch that chunks in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hi.
Sorry, I Googled AI this because I just kind of like wanted to exemplify like the type of things that you're reading of the different historical periods of this type of literature. Like common sayings of I don't know nothing, like nothing, like
Nothing.
Mm.
yeah, it goes from you're not pronouncing your words fully. Like another one is she ain't coming. Um and then it says two languages are not interchangeable. And then another one says at one time it was the only place for African Americans to purchase homes. It was redlined. Um, so there's like also like key terms that like not a lot of people are going to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, mule, there is that. Um, a lot of it is Southern slang.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good. You didn't react to my joke I made.
Okay, please redo it.
No, it was. I realized I lied. The only iteration of Romeo and Juliet I've seen was The Lion King 2.
Oh,
But then we were talking about how like we read The Princess Bride and stuff as well.
I didn't read The Princess Bride, so I was a little confused there.
Yeah, I think my teacher in my freshman year opted for that instead of Romeo and Juliet.
Now, did you guys have to do like the what was it called? Like you had to read books and then do quizzes on them and then get points?
AR test,
Yeah.
accelerated reader.
No,
Yeah.
because I was in honors in AP.
No, this would be like
This is like elementary, middle school stuff.
Oh, yes, and I probably took it more frequently than both of you did because I was like, I had like, they thought I had dyslexia for a long time, but I was too young to like officially get it, so I had reading help, and so every other week I would have that type of test.
No, we would take them frequently. I took them frequently because I feel like in elementary school they pushed things like independent reading a lot harder than when you got to like high school.
Yeah, because we had to do like where you read a book, and then when you were done reading the book, you had to go take a quiz on that specific book.
And it was like 5 questions.
I swear there were more than that,
I
but
think sometimes there were more, but
like it depended if you were reading a novel or like a graphic novel. Like the questions.
overall, like yeah, depended specifically on the book. Like
And then they were worth a certain amount of points as well.
yeah, and the more points you would earn, the more that like the school would have like a reward system almost.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I was in like the big one for my elementary school was if you earned so many points, then you would get to go on a trip to Kayak Point, which was like a state park shore beach area for a
Yeah.
field trip.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah, ours was Silverwood.
Mm-hmm.
That was a separate thing that we had because there was also like if you read 10 books and then complete it, then you would get tickets to Silverwood.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Okay, so out of that was did you also have the typing games where you had to do typing games?
Hold on. For those of you who don't know, Silverwood is a theme park in Idaho.
Me and Megan call it knockoff Disneyland.
You call it not.
Believe it or not, I've still never been to Scarywood.
Neither have I.
Neither have I, but I have really, really bad anxiety, and if I get jump scared, I am probably going to go in fight or flight. And I like the staff at Silverwood enough to not want to attack them.
I heard that they have some people chase you with chainsaws.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that's why I kind of haven't gone to Scarywood because like I don't mind the scare factor, but like I don't want someone chasing me with a fake chainsaw while I'm trying to just cruise around.
Agreed, but also you were saying something about typing games.
Oh, yeah. So in school, there was that, but then there was also the typing stuff on the computer that you had to do.
For like learning to type.
Yeah.
We didn't have that. We had math games.
Okay, we also had those, but then we also had the multiplication sheets
I hate multiplication.
and the division sheets. I loved them.
We had like multiplication tests where you would have to like complete the whole like it was like a square, so it'd be like 1 by 1 and then all the way up to 12. And you had to like fill it out under a specific
I
amount
was
of
so
time.
excited about those.
Here's the thing. My working memory is really bad. Back then it was even worse. So if you couldn't fill it out within X amount of time, you would have to stay in for recess to like do more math. And I never got to go to recess for like months because I couldn't fill it out in time.
That's so
Megan,
sad.
I wish I kind of went to school with you for a few reasons to help dumb down some of this for you. And I hate putting it in that terms, but like the last thing that I showed you, remember for the multiplications of the nines?
Yes.
Yeah, I use that all the time for that. And then it helped me get a base number for where everything was. And then I was like, okay, perfect. And then the whole thing was done.
Ugh.
And then like I created patterns within the tables to remember which numbers were which.
Oh, that's so smart. Yeah.
That's why like I never actually remembered the multiplication. I just remembered the patterns on the table, which that's another math thing in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just like how everything times by 0 is 0, the tens are literally just add a 0.
Anything multiplied by 1 is that number.
11s are easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
12s always got me. I'm like, this.
12s I thought were easy. It was always the 7s and 8s that got me.
For me, it was the 9s, purely because I did not know the hand trick with the 9s.
See, I learned the hand trick thing like so early on.
They tried, they couldn't keep my attention to learn it.
I
I'm like, what are you doing with your hands? Just 9 times 9.
I thought the hand thing was so cool though. I was like trying to teach all my friends because I was just like, guys, I saw this on the Matilda movie. Check this out. It was like, remember on DVDs when there was like those bonus extra things? One of the bonus extra things was literally multiplications of 9s on the Matilda disc.
I did not know that one. I was like, there's no multiplication of 9s in Matilda. Bonus features.
Yeah, I loved movies with bonus features like the Barbie movies,
Yes, but they're like bloopers.
and you get games.
Oh my gosh.
And
they're
then some
so
of the charity events that they did too.
Oh yes, oh yes.
So cool. Man, they need to do that for subscriptions.
They do.
They do.
Well, they kind of
They do and they don't. Depends on what it is.
Yeah.
Because
Like, I want more. Like, Netflix is starting to bring in the interactive games, which is kind of cool.
well, I'm thinking about the other stuff that's not the games.
Yeah. Like, I really liked
Sorry, Elsa.
Rapunzel for Barbie because then like they had like an art game you could do in the bonus features, but then also they had in the bonus features like the charitable events that they did where like all of these kids got to paint their hands and then they put it on this giant piece of paper of their city that's painted on there.
That's
And
cute.
yeah, and then like the kids also made like a whole bunch of other crafts and then like it went into this art show and then those got to be auctioned off to go towards like this money for something, but
Oh my gosh. You just unlocked a memory.
oh, sorry.
There was this like movie interactive story that I like it's like tickling the back of my brain where it was like Disney princesses and there was like a store like there was a it was like a story, an interactive story. And if you got all three interactive stories with these princesses right, you'd open the box and get whatever was inside, like a tiara or something. And it was basically a giant like bonus feature game that was like acted out, hand drawn, and yeah, it just kind of
The other thing I also liked about I remember more specifically about the Barbie Rapunzel bonus feature,
I have to look this up.
but Barbie Rapunzel also had a lady who did acrylic painting and explained like her creative process of painting, and I thought that was so cool.
Under you. Ooh. Hi, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Nova.
The cat is okay, everyone.
Did you have any thoughts back to Zack and Cody? Sorry, there's just like there's more things to talk about like in general topic like with the episode than the actual episode.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to Zack, like, did you care for the cookie subplot?
Honestly, the cookie subplot is where some of my business like so and this I hate to put this more back into diverting away from the channel, but at the moment I've started a crocheting business on top of the podcast and work. But essentially kind of like I felt relatable to Zack and Cody at that moment. And also I really want to try those cookies.
The fact that like most people like there's cranberry, I was like cranberry in a cookie.
Ooh, a cranberry orange cookie. Ugh,
That sounds good. Cranberry and orange work so well together.
I know. Like a cranberry orange marmalade cookie.
Get cooking, don't know.
Okay, so hear me out. It's just a normal cranberry cookie, but then you have orange marmalade frosting. Like, does that not sound good?
Really good. No, I don't know. Like, I don't really have anything else.
I don't blame the boys for making money.
Not at all. I feel bad that Cody got so burnt out so fast.
Yeah.
10-year-old body can only hold so much, can only take so much cooking.
But yeah, I mean, there's not really much to go on with the episode, but there's a lot of things to talk around the episode.
Exactly. Because, I don't know, it's cute. This episode's just really cute. I love romance.
I love romance too, but I don't necessarily like Disney romance.
Disney.
To an extent. Ice Princess is a different story, okay? Ted, I love you. I love you, Ted. Please.
R.I.P. Michelle.
Oh, yeah, I did watch that not that long ago because of her passing. Speaking of which, I feel like we should discuss this in a future quarter episode.
After.
Okay.
But, I mean, I think we're about to wrap up. Is there anything you need to add, Megan?
Oh, there's something we need to add, though.
Oh?
Darby O'Gill.
No? I'm going to put it into... That's in the Darby O'Gill episode.
Oh, I thought we didn't record it in there.
I'll explain to you later.
Okay.
Bye, friend.
Goodbye. I hope you enjoyed my rant. I'm sorry. Bye.